Governor Subways streaming. We're looking at round one right now, and I'm lucky enough to be joined by both Chris and Justin here as they talk about this match with me. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Great. All right, so we're gonna start it off here now. Chris, you're on Freedom here, and Justin, is that Architects?
That is definitely Architects.
Awesome, awesome. Round one of the tournament going in. How did you feel about your deck going into the day, Justin?
I didn't test a whole lot, so I never really know, but the Rudder deck had an idea I'm comfortable with, and Architect seems like it's strong with the strike on, so I felt.
Yeah.
This tournament was more focused on getting old friends out and that not being super serious testing. So I was kind of hoping for some wins, but not expecting to do crazy well.
That makes sense. Wait a second. Pause. I don't think I'm live right now. God damn it. Nope. We're live. Okay. Never mind. Sorry about that, everybody. We're back. So Chris on Freedom, I know you did a lot of testing of it because we were on the same team there.
Yeah. So I, similar to Justin, I wasn't taking the deck building part super seriously. I just wanted to build a fun deck. As you know, we had a theme for our team, which was the forced connections. Mm-hmm. So I had to include at least one copy of the Nihilist, which did not really help me a lot in this deck, but it was fun to play with.
It's a shame because, like, in Freedom seems like the one identity that would want the Nihilist. So it's a shame that it didn't really do much for you.
Problem is, good Freedom decks don't use a ton of virus counters. So it's not usually an integral part of your game. It's just you have a Data Sucker or you have a Yusuf, and then you can trash when you can. Justin's already going crazy here with this really fast setup. I'm wasting clicks checking NGOs.
I remember showing my team the opening hand, and Jose, one of the teammates, gave me a look like, how are you this lucky? The opening hand was completely ridiculous.
I mean, drawing into two Ice of Jeeves, yeah, I'm surprised you didn't ice the Jeeves early, knowing that Chris is on. Yep, there it goes. Knowing that Chris is on Freedom and just one virus counter.
But I paid for that. I paid for that with cash out of the Liberated.
Yeah, I wanted to ice the Rashida there to get the fire to go off. Like, Jeeves is one of those, if it dies, it's not integral to the plan, but it's one of my favorite cards. It's way bigger value than people give it credit for sometimes.
Yeah.
Very hard to trash and make out with value.
Yeah, it's something I throw a chump Byroid later in the game if you want to ever go kill it, and then I get the res off it too. But early in game, if you want to pay 5 this early, that's completely fine by me.
Yeah.
So I think that's my Data Sucker.
Yeah, that's definitely the Data Sucker. I could see that. And then Justin was another Rashida and the Jinja, which you're going to use to slam down some ice.
If we were conscious of our streamers, we would have shown the ice as well as said it out loud. But that next ice is a Fairchild 3.
Yeah, the deck's running a lot of Fairchilds 1 through 3, and then Eli's, and anything other than that is starting to get less common. But usually the remote ends up having Cedar and a ton of Fairchilds of varying.
Which is a shame for a deck not on Ngolo to see so many. Because what are you on? Are you on Blork in this deck?
Yes.
Alright, so you bounce off an Eli and then you run into a Fairchild? No, he reses the Fairchild after you pass. I keep forgetting it's Architects tomorrow. So you pass Eli.
Right. I'm trying to take pot shots at HQ to get virus counters and to get accesses. But unfortunately, every time I do that, I'm giving Justin value.
Yeah. Only until his whole board is res, though. And what value do you get?
I think I get the value of knowing I'm in a great spot.
Yeah, it only takes 12 clicks to get through the remote.
A casual diaper turn.
So I did okay getting money early this game. That wasn't a huge problem. It's a Page Piper Freedom deck, and Page Piper didn't really get set up till mid game, but I just lucked into a couple Liberators early.
Mm-hmm. And what's that? So again, you check HQ. No audio here is strange. Seeing you click through the Eli, and then having him res the Fairchild on the remote, I'm just like, what is happening? But it's Architects of Tomorrow. So you
Architects tomorrow.
yeah.
So that was a maw access, which is why we had to randomize after the access. And I, for a second there, thought I was going to trash the archive memories, but I decided to take the maw instead at a chance at seeing something.
Yeah, I actually think you should have just killed the archives, because if you maw anything, I might just use it and get it back, and if it's important enough, or if not, it's still.
Yeah, that's a good point. If it's an agenda, I could get it that turn. Otherwise, it's coming right back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm definitely happy about you taking the shots in HQ, because as you saw when we were playing, like, my plan against any Anarch deck is just keep stuff out of my hand, throw it all on the board. And like, if you want to keep clicking through Eli, I'm gonna.
You were playing with maybe like 1 or 2 cards in HQ for most of the second half of this game.
Which is definitely right against Maw and definitely right against Freedom.
Yeah.
So
I get crowdfunding out.
Luck. I had fortunate luck not getting a lot of agendas super early. So like with the Rashida draws and things, it was all board set up, not having to deal with HQ.
Yeah. And then here comes crowdfunding in. You've double iced HQ now, and you've double advanced the thing in the remote. Chris has only a Blork in the bin at this point, I think. So he doesn't really have the tools to make it through Decider.
Justin reads Trickster Taka.
Yeah, I always forget which one is for the run and which one's for trashing cards. So I always.
Yeah, it's good to check. Taka's a good card. I've seen it going into a lot of decks that aren't Stabby Max. Like making its way into random stealth decks here and there.
Seems pretty good for stealth.
$1. All you gotta do, if you use it once, it was worth the install. Once it gets a couple dollars on it. And if you just lose it, it's $1 loss. It's not a big deal. Definitely worth.
So I saw 3 cards that I mod that were not agendas.
Yes. And you have an Amakua down, which is the...
Oh, yeah.
So did get the Biotic out, though, which was annoying, because that's a good closing move after our score at the GF. I always feel pressure when I'm playing the runner against Architects that you can't keep letting this guy hand, but you can't play too desperate either. It's a very difficult balance. How did you feel about it, Dorian?
Getting into centrals, you mean?
Well, just in general, like taking runs that are just kind of to poke around a little bit seems like a bad idea against Architects of Tomorrow. It's hard to decide when.
Yeah, it's a very bad idea. The only issue is that if you don't start looking, that remote builds really quick. So you want to play aggressively, but that aggressive play in turn lets Architects res a bunch of eyes.
Yeah. Now there's 3 Fairchild 3s resed on the board now.
Well, remember, all the art kind of looks similar. There's a good chance they're Fairchild 2s.
Okay.
I think I confused a 2 with a 3
That's
near the
a
end
3.
of the game, thinking I could get in. That's Fairchild 3.
Yeah, so it's Fairchild 2s at the base of the 2 central. I really wish there was a better way to determine which one's which. Like, it's so annoying sometimes.
So that's Street Predator. I believe it has a hippo under it, which is usually how I would use it in this deck.
Seems good, because then with that you can have one on the board, use it, and then immediately grab another one off the peddler. Is that the game plan there?
You can't, because it's only the first ice that you encounter. The first time you encounter an outermost piece of ice and break also.
Oh,
it's useful. It's useful because it doesn't cost any clicks, and runners will not, consider hippo all the time. if you're just running. If it's on the board, they might not res that outermost ice.
Gotcha. So it looks like you take a Page Piper off of. Yeah, you took a Page Piper off of the Street Peddler and used it to dump all the crowdfundings. And no, used it to dump all the Page Pipers and then also got crowdfundings back.
Right.
Does
Use
that
ideal turn 1, drop the Page Piper, get rid of the Page Pipers, and then turn 2, when you install a crowdfunding, run 3 times because the other 2 will be in the.
I never thought of that interaction. That's really cool.
It's basically a crowdfunding tutor. Like, it sounds cool with the bin breakers, but it doesn't give that much value. You're always just trashing 1 or 2 things.
I mean, thinking the deck is always reasonable value, but the interaction with crowdfunding, I was kind of like, why are you playing Page Piper expecting some giant combo? But I think that makes a lot more.
Yeah, you know me, just going for value time.
Yeah.
You should have been on Architects tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a shame that there's not other things that synergize up nicely with Page Piper. It's like it was very few things until crowdfunding, and now it is still very, very few things.
So I'm going to R&D here. Justin's hand, I think, is empty at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to lock, but as soon as Turtle gets purged, it's very difficult for me to get in multiple.
Yeah. Looks like you considered trashing that card off the top of R&D. But didn't. But you didn't get a turtle counter for it?
Oof.
Oh.
Yeah, that looks like a misplay there because you didn't take a turtle counter for it at all, and you didn't trash the card.
That seems like it. I was pretty active about purging once all the ice on the centrals got online, so I don't think it would have made a tremendous difference.
Yeah. I'm also not great with Amakua.
Yeah. Here comes
I know it's powerful, but I feel like people just block you out.
It's always the game plan when I try it. It's like, if I have my ice online and I don't think that they can get in, I am purging every time they get any number of counters, really. Especially now, you have 2 data suckers online, too. Justin with a casual install take 2.
At this point, I think this was a part of the game where I had no cards in hand, so just draw, play the card, and keep slow playing, because R&D is so prohibitive to get through at this point. It'd be trying to rush through. I could draw myself to a bad spot. No reason to. And then I need to build up money for Ash anyway, just in case something happens.
Yeah. So what's in this nightmare server that you've got set up here, Justin?
The upgrades are usually, it's either there's a Rella Salvatore is the big key to the deck to keep it moving. Once you start scoring things online, you keep pressuring through that remote because there's always the advancement. You never know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll probably see that being scored here. Is Ash or that new version of Lithana Nisei? I use those as defensive upgrades, but usually it's just, I don't need defensive upgrades with this remote. No one wants to run this remote.
I did not want to run that remote. I just had to at a certain point.
Yeah, you can't just let Agenda sit there. But now, Justin on 5 points, Chris on 0. This doesn't look too great for you, Chris.
No, I've got some turning wheel counters, not a lot of virus counters. I think I find my David this turn or next turn, which gives me a chance to contest, but only a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the saving grace here is how poor I am at the moment. My money in top left, I only have a single credit right now. Not really. I got the early economy that was set up good, but after that, I kind of dried out. So that's another reason why I've been slow.
Yeah. I mean, if your hand is empty, R&D is a bitch to get through. You can spend your turn. You're like, install your card, take 2. Install a card, take 2. You have that option.
At this point in the game, it doesn't matter what I draw. I can play it the turn I draw it. Like, if it's an ice, I can install the ice or be willing to lose it. If it's an agenda, it goes right in the remote because it's safer there. Like, And when you have no cards in your hand for some mod deck, playing this slow style negates a 6-cost console and also just gives you control of what's happening. And all I gotta do is defend R&D really at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. Defend RNG and purge every couple turns.
Yeah, because eventually Chris is gonna run out of the liberated money. Like he's gonna have to spend it to go through archives to build up or anything like that. And I can eventually just whittle this down because crowdfunding just isn't gonna be enough against this guy.
Yeah, if I had more ice destruction, I would spend it on archives just to recur crowdfundings probably, or HQ to. I mean, not in this game because you had no HQ available. There's the David.
All right. David doesn't get you all the way through the remote, right? Because there's a Fairchild 3 on the remote, which needs all of David to break, plus the cider.
It only needs one of David to break. You only have to break the last one. The first one you can use to pay money or trash the random cards like the Data Suckers or Moth.
There's the clone chip. You're about to see me trash a bunch of cards too.
Yeah. Yeah. So
crowdfunding is nice for this purpose.
That makes sense. Yeah. There go the two. They only dropped one crowdfunding.
I do get the free resin ash, which is nice. It's a thing some people tend to forget with architects that ash upgrade is a buy.
Is there another? Wasn't Alex ALIX?
Yes, that was as well, but that would never sit in the remote unrest for an extended period.
Yeah, because that was an econ card, if I remember correctly.
I think it was the.
I used to play it a lot back in the day.
Yeah, the neutered Estelle Moon, or like the proto Estelle Moon.
The balanced Estelle Moon.
Hey, I found a Rashida. How cool is that?
Yeah, you only had to spend a lot of money and some crowdfundings and some data suckers to see it.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think this is something you did have to go find because if I fire the Rashida, draw all the cards, and go up to $6, I think that remote locks you out.
Yeah. So you pay to trash the ash. But you had to pay to get through the ash, and then pay to trash the ash, and then knock the Rashida with your ID.
1 credit savings.
Yeah. You just didn't have the virus counters to do anything else. Or you couldn't use it on ash and save also 1 credit, I guess.
Hey, you did get a little bit of use out of freedom in the early game, so,
True.
Good idea. At this point, I'm always trying to math what the remote's going to do when I see that clone chip, because I know you're going to get David back and trash David mid-run to a Fairchild, so...
Right.
At this point, there's a lot of tricks, but my plan is just to burn you out of them, because you can't just keep doing these Hail Mary runs over and over. It's too big of a point.
Yeah.
So I was thinking at some point you were just going to start slamming into the centrals and taking shots this way, because playing the remote game is just a losing.
You're on game point though, so it's like I have to check.
You don't subscribe to that logic that at some point you just got to go, I got to pretend it's not and play to win otherwise? Or
I mean, sure, because like even if you get an agenda that way in the remote, you won't be able to get the next one. So you might need to just attack R&D. You'll notice I'm playing on an Arkham Horror LCG mat because I grabbed the wrong mat on the way out that morning.
You're not a true Netrunner player. We get it.
Yeah, that's one way to interpret it. I really wanted to put Freedom where it says Investigator, but that would throw off my reg.
Does that help you in Arkham to have that set up with the mat like that? Or
no, it's just nice and neat. That's all.
Gotcha.
You know where to look for stuff.
I haven't played enough Arkham to know.
I don't think any of the card games need the mat to make it easier. Just helpful reminders once you're first. So that's an Ichi on R&D.
Yeah.
It's one of the few full bleeds I have in the deck. So.
Which was surprisingly annoying.
That ice has been surprisingly annoying since the core set came out.
Man, I'm really slapping those cards down.
Yeah, you are.
I know this is sped up a little bit, but
you made it through. You took the game-winning point away from Justin.
Yep.
For now.
Right. Yeah, but now the board's pretty empty. The clone chip's gone. It's one of those. Okay, this happened. I'm not particularly.
Yeah, even the mall got trashed as well. You just empty your entire board here.
Yep. Desperate times.
All right.
I agree with that, though. You weren't getting any triggers out of mall. There's never anything in my hand, so might as well.
It looks like I'm going tag me here because you're broke. So that's why Taka has 4 credits. Once you hit 3, you have to either trash it or take a tag.
Yeah, I think at some point I should have killed the turning wheel a little faster than I ended up.
Well, this is the first turn that I had a tag, no? Or did I had it for 2 turns, I think.
No, I don't think so. I think you floated a tag, and then immediately, Justin, you went credit, trash the turning wheel.
Oh, that's correct.
I thought you get the tag if Taka has 3 tokens.
You 4. Do, but I forgot that you also get another credit when you steal an agenda. So that was the same turn that it went to 3 because I stole that agenda.
All right, so then I'm thinking that I should have killed Taka at this point because $5 on the board when you're basically broke.
I have 1 credit. Wow.
Yeah, and he also has no real way of taking them off Taka though, because he can't use them to install MK or Borg. But once Borg is played,
is it 4 programs or just during?
To use programs, to use icebreakers, I think specifically.
All right, so it does help you use one of your breakers to get through some of these fair trials and things, because you're playing through like Cedar isn't going to be to break it with money, but getting through the fair trials with Lork or something.
Yeah, I just checked it's to use programs, so I could use any program with.
Yeah, and here we see you doing exactly that, right? So you pay hard cash to pull out the MK, and then use the Taka to break,
which is so inefficient. MK, but I'm hippoing it. Right, yeah. That helps because I don't want to spend 6 on EG and still leave a sub.
Sure you do.
And now you never have to deal with it again. And you technically don't pass it. Is that correct, Justin?
Yeah, if it dies from the hippo, I don't get the Architect Fire. You have to keep.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but the Vitruvius was in the remote, so it brings you up to 7 and close out the game.
Just an example of me getting off to a good start, and that's all Architects needs. If you don't have tools to fight against it, if they get to a good start, you gotta rob the game a little bit out of it.
Yeah, but Architects gives such tempo, honestly. Getting all of those ice rezzed, making it super taxing to get into Centrals, especially versus Freedom, who's trying to build up those virus counters, really puts a hamper on Chris's game plan there.
I was just so happy when that MWL update came out. I read it and I was at work. I audibly was like, yes! I was so happy that I could play Architects again.
And here we have the Orbeck PCB matchup. Polana versus Wu.
Yeah, I only have 2 of these things, so this is kind of nice to see.
These PCB things are super good. I bought the 5 credit chips too, but these IDs just look drop dead gorgeous. They're unbelievable.
Yeah, they really are. I haven't bought any myself, but I always will take them from my opponents and stare into the depths of them.
Yeah, the only one I don't particularly like is the P. I think the coloring's a little too intense on it. But all the other ones, like the Atom one,
so good. Gold and silver. Perfect.
Yeah. All right. So, Justin, are you on the Au revoir Wu here, or are you on Justin Wu?
I'm on Patchwork. I'm on Cusick Lock. I'm doing spec works as like pseudo ace-ups, so I'm doing Justin.
Okay. I've seen a lot of that recently. The like play a cache and then spec work it.
It feels super good.
It looks super good.
Yeah, if you count the amount that you get from it is like it's 2 clicks and you're netting 2 off the cache and then you're netting 3 more off the spec work plus 2 cards. It's really kind of insane.
Yeah. Here
The
comes.
only reason I'm playing Wu here is for one very minor edge case combo, but this really should be allowed.
All right. You check HQ. You dirty laundry into HQ. We see 2 cards that we can't see because of the glare. And you drop an SMC and a casts.
Yeah, the tempo of the runner deck is gonna. The way I describe it is that it feels a bit like prepaid once you get Patchwork online because you're spending on dirty laundries and economy stuff.
Mm.
So it's pretty nice once things get online. It just depends on how fast I find the patchwork.
So
early Rashida is great for this deck. Feels
absolutely
good. This is Polana, so I'm going on a kind of vanilla Polana kill plan with punitive counterstrike.
So you're in 5/3s and punitive, and any baddies or anything in there to make life a little more difficult, or?
So the upgrade scheme is the jankiest part because I have, at least in this version, Valley Grid, which is an upgrade that you can put in a remote, and every time you break all subs on a piece of ice, your maximum hand size goes down by 1 for until the next.
Right.
So they can score, but they may need to end up discarding a couple cards, allowing me to punitive easy. Which in practice never, ever happens.
I think the point where it could have actually happened, I ended up having a sports hopper on the board to get around it.
Yeah.
But I was so thrilled when I saw that. That upgrade is criminally underused.
I think in my newest version of this deck, I just swapped it for Ben Musashi.
That seems much more consistent for what you're trying to do.
Yeah, it is definitely less powerful and more consistent.
So here, Valley Grid gets rezzed, and Justin has to stop to bask in its glory.
And that's a Kakugo, and I was kind of surprised that Justin kept going here.
I didn't keep going.
Oh, no, you left it there.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Bounces right off it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I pegged that for an oboe, so it's not worth losing cards just to not be able to steal it. If I had enough to steal, I probably would have gone. Because I have enough money to fight the punitive.
Yeah, because that's exactly what it was. And so, Justin, are you assuming every agenda here is an oboe until you see all 3 of them?
I basically, because regardless of what you could be doing, installed double advance is always a 5/3. It's never Nisei. No one does that stuff. So I'll peg it that it might not be oboe exactly. It might be an SSL or something, but I'm gauging off points. And if I see the one I think is Nisei Mark II, that's the one I go all in to get. Until then, I can play with my hand and see if I should be playing, because I'm planning to win off R&D, not the remote.
Yeah, with a Kushik lock, that's what you're going for. Do you have eyes on what this thing is? So there's a sports hopper right by your hand, and there's something, just pure light, just emanating light.
I was very intimidated by that card.
I wonder why.
It's just a blank white card.
I could not honestly tell you. The way I set up my board, if it's to the left, is probably hardware. So that might be the path.
Okay. So I know that there's an SMC.
Programs there's one program, and then it's probably another hardware on top of the sports hopper, which is probably.
Okay.
That's a pretty early punitive. I think it was Rashida and Geo, something else. Just for money. Justin's made so much money that I can't really, force out an agenda. And if I don't get cash soon, I won't be able to. I was just going to start.
Yeah, it's definitely a patchwork. I just discarded a dirty launcher to install a Levy. So
Mm-hmm. And you said, Chris, you said preemptive there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you shuffled money back in. Justin draws up like crazy. He's got his lady down. He's got his SMC down.
Oh, I said preemptive, but you can see it's a genotyping. I put it out of play on my token tray.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was like. I was like double checking there. And then you have a current up there in between the mats to the top of the screen. That's a enforced curfew, right?
That's right. Another card that hasn't helped too much, but it makes them start one less on the turn they're trying to steal Oboe.
Yeah. If you could put 6 of Oboe in a deck, this deck looks
Oof.
like,
Now we're cooking.
yeah, the thing you want to be doing.
if you start putting 6x of a card, I'm quitting Netrunner.
That's fair. Spy Cam.
That's the only one allowed because the other ones don't see play.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We're not seeing any Romulan Reliant or Actually,
Net
Net Chip?
chips.
Yeah, I was going to say Net
It's not
Chip.
going to come back.
No. So you see, I'm starting to build up the rig. I got Gordian. I got the lady. I might have a nanotech. It's hard to tell. But the idea is that it is a Kiosek for 4. So all my breakers are 4, patchworks 4, and then there's copies of the artist. Or I could like double, triple install ladies. So I'm going for 4.
Gotcha. I was wondering about that when I saw Kushik as a card released, and I was like, do you hyper focus on the low cost, cheap stuff that you could slam down, or do you find good stuff that all costs the same? So I've tried the, Kushik for 1 and go with like your Polongis, your Caches, your clone ships, your Aesop. And you're here Kushik for 4. Have you done both? Can you compare them?
I think Kiosek for the lower numbers makes a lot more sense in something like Geist or Criminal, where you can do 0-1 really easy. I saw it in Adam too for a similar idea that makes a lot of sense, but it's not like I'm picking suboptimal breakers to get 4. It's something I already wanted to do anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just patchwork already happened before, and then like earlier versions I ran like HQ interface, so that gives me 2 win cons and also more force. It's just one of those things that you'll get near the end of making your deck, and you're gonna do a card search on Netrunner DB for cost 4 and see what you like.
Yeah, I have a little experience with 2 on Cusick for Lat because there's lots of good like tech cards,
Rozeki,
hunting grounds for Zeki, Beth. But I think for the most part, I play Cusick out of Haley and do Cusick 1 because it's so easy to install multiple low-cost cards.
Yeah, I think you can go any way with it, really. It's just, what do you want to do with the deck? If you're like something, you should build the deck first and just add it in a little bit later. And you might have to tune the deck a little bit, but see what you already naturally have.
It's a cool card, cool late game card.
Index died for this.
And here it comes.
Oh, that appears to be a whiff.
I think it is.
I did a lot of whiffs
Rashida.
today. I did a lot of whiffs today on Cusick. There was one match I whiffed all of them, every single one I played against a low agenda Asmari. So I felt really good. I think I played 6 that game for 5 or 6 cards each. It was not awesome.
Oh, because this is on Levy, right?
Yeah, this is Levy as the restricted. So that's why I was really kind of making sure to get the spec works in so I could still do Aesopsy feeling stuff, but Levy makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Without Laguna Velasco District anymore, you really gotta, plan around draw and shaper. It doesn't just come naturally anymore, unless you want to Proco, but
I mean,
that's not nearly as fast as Laguna.
Yeah, I think for a deck like the one I'm playing, you could do Earthrise, which would be a temporary 4 also, but I got Sports Hopper as a keep me alive card, but Spec Work draws you 2, Diesels draw you 3, so you already get a decent amount of draw anyway. But you could definitely add more in. There's plenty of random good value. You don't have to throw in something out of the way for it.
So my next question, Justin, is I haven't seen you use Woo's ability for anything yet.
Huh.
Yeah, so Woo, it was, again, like I said, this should be a lat deck. But the Woo ability was mainly if I play against Rush to find SMCs like Titan or something. But the edge case thing is that I find a dead SMC and spec work it to get spec work out of hand because I found a lot in playing they clog my hand early until I find. But you can't Woo for cash and spec like find SMC, get it out of the deck and spec work. It's still 2 clicks for $4 and 2 draws. It's still above, but this 100% should be lat.
Yeah, it makes sense. Do you want your whole ID to be based around your rush, like matchup? And I guess that's really meta dependent.
Well, I think the more when I was making the deck, it was a thought of what would be the really good ID for this, and there's a couple that make sense, but none of them jump out as this is clearly a choice. Like Haley's good for the setup. Lat will get you draw in the mid game, like you're saying that draw's a little hard to find, and then Woo gets me the anti-Titan rush stuff. I would love to play Ayla. Ayla would be the best ID for this deck, but it is gone.
I really wish it wasn't.
Me too. They should have kept that with Chaos Theory. Like, why not?
I understand that like it enabled some combos, but also it was Shaper Andy, and I loved it.
Well, you play Nexus everything, so that makes sense.
I sure do play Nexus everything. Nexus is the best card in this game.
So during the game a little bit, you see the remote getting scary to go through. I did steal an SSL, so this is me trying to end the game. Freedom through quality Kissick. This is the move I use to end games, but I don't think it works so well here. I do pop the sports hopper to get plenty of cards just in case.
Yeah, seems smart. And you're on Nanotech, Gordian.
And 2 ladies.
Two ladies and a patchwork.
Whiffs again.
Hits an NGO. Not the greatest hit, right? With you spending your freedom through quality time.
Yeah, but here I know that freedom means he just needs one more score, and I can't punitive, and that is indeed the winning agenda.
So
I wanted to try RD first and not play the remote guessing game.
Seems reasonable. You're gonna go in, take a damage. Yeah, and that's it. Nicely done.
There it is.
You had enough cards in hand just in case it was the Obokata.
Yeah, before the run, I played a Diesel in addition to the Sports Opera early in the turn, so had plenty of life.
Yeah. I could easily see that turn bringing you from 0 to 7.
Sure.
Yeah, Cusick in general is just a very strong card, and with me drawing so much and planning to levy anyway, I'm always going to find a freedom for one before I levy. So, like, I think the agenda suite right now in decks, it just makes it really good to be running freedom if you're not already.
Yeah. Are you on 3 freedom, or is it a tech card of 1 or 2?
It's just a 1 because I'm always going to get to the point where I want to levy every game, so I'm always going to see the freedom. And there's 3 Sable things, 3 Cusicks, so I'm going to have it available for a Cusick before the...
Yeah, and just needing to score to steal 1 fewer agenda is enough, usually.
Yeah, it makes sense. That's the entirety of our round here. An exciting round 1. Later on in the tournament, I know we finish off somewhere in the middle, probably the lower middle, if I remember correctly. Justin, how does your team do overall for the day here?
We ended up finishing just below 500 as a team.
Oh, it's not bad.
I had one game I lost because I did something dumb and it got to like one of those can we fix the board say I said let's not even worry about it, just took the forfeit. But and then I had the game with a lot of whiffed Q6. But overall as a team, my guys did pretty good. I think I went 5-5 for the day, and one of my teammates also went 5-5. But we just had a great time playing again. So this was not a tournament about records or doing particularly well. It's about playing a game we all love and having a good time with it again.
Yeah, I really love the Sovereign of Subways, King of Subways like style of tournament for that. Just like come back out, hang out, see some people, spend a game like chatting with your teammates, chatting with your opponents, things you just like don't normally get to do during a tournament.
Yeah, even though it was very loud in there, I definitely had a lot of good networking conversations with my opponents during and after the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually think the Sovereign not being a cash tournament made the atmosphere a little bit better. I wasn't expecting that. Did you guys have that same experience?
Yeah, I totally agree. Because we were considering it, when we were putting it together, because that's kind of tradition in a lot of these team tournaments. And there's a lot of discussion in the New York City group about, well, what kind of tournament is this? Is it casual? Is it competitive? Is it both? And we wanted to have a format where, people were able to build whatever they wanted. So you did see some really cool competitive decks. And then, our team, we're, photoshopping our faces onto these downfall connections and just trying to build stuff that's fun and interesting. So you get the whole gamut.
I'm going to try to snake my way into your team next year. Right? Need to get one of those cards. They're so ridiculous.
Yeah, no cards this year, but next year hopefully.
Yeah,
did you guys make them for yourself at least, or?
No, I didn't have time. I threw the Photoshop together. I don't know if you want to throw that up on the projection, but we photoshopped it last.
He did a full.
I don't know if I have the file actually, Chris. If you send it to me, I could throw it up on the stream. But
yeah.
It was last year we made corporate fails team, and we took corporate sales team and we made we did nothing. Chris made all the edits, and Chris ordered the cards and Chris printed the cards, and we had enough to give each opponent every team a playset.
Yeah.
But this year. Yeah, this year was a little tougher. We kind of flaked on it. I think mostly, like, Patrick was doing a lot of work organizing the tournament. Chris was doing a lot of work organizing the tournament. I've been really busy just in general. And so, like, I don't think I got my picture into Chris until, like, maybe 2 days before the tournament, 3 days before the tournament.
But this goofy stuff is a real big part of Sovereign of Subways, because people online were just making their own team logos, and we're having fun trying to snipe each other's decks. And I remember testing this deck online, and Kat and Matthew would join a lobby on JNet against me, and I was trying to corp, and I was going to Polana, and so I pulled up my old Rush Polana deck to try to deke them out of knowing what I was on.
Yeah, I played a couple games of testing that weren't against the people on my team, which was more to practice the game rather than test the decks.
Mm-hmm.
And still, we're talking maybe 2 games against the public masses, and Eskimo Sniper comes out of nowhere. I'm like, who is this person? How are they always? Still don't know. It's the one Smurf. I want to know who it is so bad.
I also end up with a lot of Eskimo Sniper in my games. Less frequently recently, which I don't know is a testament to that I'm not playing great decks on JNet right now, or if they're just less active. But I have always wondered about that as well.
I think we all know what you're playing. You just say, I'm playing this person. You're fitting Nexus into it somehow.
It's a different flavor of Nexus.
There's one flavor of Nexus, crushing late game. There's no other flavor.
It's fair. That's very fair. All right. Other than that, I mean, I love Sovereign Subways. I can't wait for next year, and I hope we get to run it and host it again. Hopefully the second time around will be a little easier on everybody who's running it.
How you guys feel about a regional season coming up?
That's pretty exciting too. I'm just glad that Nisei is a good steward of the game, and these tournaments are happening, and there's still excitement, and there's still a player base.
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely they've been doing a fantastic job. I didn't think I was gonna like the player-made card thing, but when the first expansion came out, I'm like, okay, I'm still into.
Yeah, just very thoughtful design. It's obviously not overpowered as a set, which is a good thing. You see a lot of card games that that lose their official support, end up with fan designed cards that are way too strong, but these really fit into the card pool. Not all of them are used competitively, but neither were FFG.
Yeah, they don't have to be. I've seen people complain about that some of the cards are just not that good. Like, that's why card games are fun. Like, I don't want to buy a deck that's already made for me, and I don't want every card to be brokenly. Like, I like having bad cards and good cards. It gives you that discovery when you're deck building for yourself.
Yeah, this regional season is really putting that on display as well, because you see people floundering to find what is the tier 1 corp, and no one has an answer for that. So you're going to see a much wider card pool, a competitive event.
Yeah, I'm pretty set for corp. I might not be playing Shaper. We'll see.
Enrolls Justin as Apex.
It would be Adam if it's not Shaper. Or it might be Geist. Geist is fun. I don't know.
I think Geist is pretty good right now, sure.
I'm not playing Apex. That's on the short list of IDs I'm never going to play, so don't. Well, what are you, Teo? How you feel about regional season? You ready? You excited? You testing stuff?
I'm ready. I think I'm testing Corp and Corp only at this point. My runner deck is pretty solid and pretty set. It's obviously Nexus. But Corp-wise, I've really been floundering. I tried Titan and made a bad Titan deck. I tried Tenon and made a bad Tenon deck. And now I'm on to other spicy stuff. And hopefully I do well at a regional and I'll get to write up a fun deck list. But I'm really excited for what I'm trying out now, actually. And I don't want to say what it is just yet.
I can tell from how dicey you're being. I'm excited to see it. It's murder sports. I'm sure.
What?
Not gonna confirm nor deny here.
Your silence says it all.
Good. Which is actually not what we want on a stream. We want conversation on a stream, not my silence. Chris, you got any fun things in the works?
Not really. I haven't had a lot of testing time lately. I really don't know what's good on Corp. So I've just been playing Talassins and Osclates and Seamus's Argus over and over and over again to see if that's a good enough counter to all these crazy criminal decks.
Yeah, trying to just outspeed them at that point.
Yeah, because you're not gonna. I think Code Marvel has put it well in his write-up of that 419 deck, of his Polana deck. You can't really tax runners out of credits anymore. You can just tax them out of cards and clicks. So I think Argus is a pretty good idea to put the runner on the back foot. And I've been getting kills against, typically rich Leelas and 419s just because they're not ready to make these steals. So I can land that hard-hitting news.
Yeah, seems reasonable.
Man, sounds really good. I played against the Argus deck at the Sour Subway, so it definitely felt like a strong archetype.
Runner's cool because, I love testing Runner. I think, my girlfriend watched me play Netrunner. She's like, do you ever play Corp? And I'm like, yeah, no, all the time, because you have to play them both. Then you look at Jinteki, and it's like, oh, no, it's like 2/3 of my games online at Runner.
Yeah.
It's just so much more fun to test.
It's also just something I personally think I'm better at. Like, I feel like I'm a much better runner than I am a Corp. So actually, my fiancée says the same thing. She's like, oh, you're playing Netrunner again? Are you the corporation or are you the hacker? I'm like, well, first, I'm the runner. And I'm always the runner every time she comes in and watches a game.
It's more fun, man. Corp is, it's just the gameplay is so specific, and you have to do it just right, and the timing is tougher. When you're the runner, you have so much agency to just do whatever you want.
See, I feel the opposite way. If I'm playing one game for fun, I'll probably play runner because I feel like that deck is better off if you haven't made updates in a while or you don't know the meta. It's like I can just use runner fundamentals and play a solid game. But I'm much happier and more excited to play if I'm like, I got a corp deck I got to test. I want to put a lot of games in and get the reps down to find out all the little things I need to see. Like runner, you can kind of use your skill to carry you through, but a corp, like I like playing that.
Do you find you can that it's more important to optimize that corp deck to be streamlined and have just the right balance of econ and agenda points?
I like putting in a lot of time just to find out where the problems are, if there are any. But if you, I feel I need to put more games into corpse so I can see all the lines that'll be the thing that'll push you over to win the game. But also, it gives me a better read on the meta, seeing a lot of runner decks. Because unless it's like a really common trick, any runner you can just throw in a couple tech cards and you'll be ready for whatever meta you're gonna hit. But if like I don't know 419 Apocalypse exists, I'm going to lose the moment I see it. So you need to know games to find all these weird runners.
Interesting. I didn't even think of like testing to see the competition. I'm always just so laser focused on, does my deck suck? Like, do I need to improve this? But yeah, it's good to know what's out.
Yeah, all my testing usually revolves around what can I do to make my deck better. So I also don't really think about like, oh, well, what are they gonna be on? Just like, what can I do to make my deck more, like, get a higher win rate against all the decks?
Yeah, I try to do the same thing where I'm not just throwing in million silver bullets, but if I'm playing for testing and find out, like, wow, 5 games in a row, 4 of them were Leela, or I just played 5 games and 3 of them had Apocalypse, or everyone's on Cusack, like, that will help me know. If not, if I want to throw in silver bullets, at least what their plan of attack's gonna likely be. So I might put more ice on R&D than I might normally would earlier in the game or something. So I don't get blindsided.
Yeah, I found that the disappearance of the competitive lobby has led to a lot of difficulty in testing because I don't know if someone's just playing a deck casually or for fun, if it is really indicative of my meta. Whereas for Worlds, I'm always in the competitive lobby, and I get a good sense of what kind of decks I'm going to see.
Yeah, that's very true.
I was always in the competitive lobby, even when I'm playing garbage jank, just because I'm like, I don't feel like I should be in the casual lobby. Let's play against the real decks. I don't care.
It's definitely, yeah, it's good to challenge yourself, even if you're playing a, otherwise suboptimal deck.
Yeah, I do wish there was a little bit more tagging you could do to your games to signify what you're planning to do with your opponent. Like if it was like, let's play super meta tournament practice or something. I'm excited for regionals this year. It's gonna be fun. I just like playing in person is fun. Is really more of what it is. I don't think I'm gonna put a lot of time testing into things, but like come a week before, you'll see me on JNet twice. It'll be great.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I feel like I'm just on JNet for hours and hours because I'm like, oh, I want this to be great. I want to do a great job, and the planning is a lot of the fun for me as well as the in-person play.
Yeah, I love showing up to a tournament and like just being able to walk in and be like, oh, these are all people I know, or even if they're not, like these are all people who are here to play Netrunner and have a good time and like compete. I love the competition, and that's something I really miss from like, or something I really did miss from like sports and like other games is like that I'm here to win a tournament. I'm here to like try to do really well. But the community aspect of it is really nice because it's like we're all here to try to do really well, but we're also not like terrible people. We're all like here to like support the community and play a good game.
It seems like you have your cake and you can eat it too because you are in this hyper competitive environment where no one's, typically people are really cool to each other and support each other. So it's like both the, like, I want to perform amazingly side of the coin, but also the, we're doing this together and we want to help each other out side.
Yeah.
I think the biggest indicator of that is when you play in a tournament match and someone misses a trigger, your opponent's going to tell you. Like, they want to win, but they don't want to steal the win. We're not angle shooters.
Exactly. Unless you're at Worlds, and then it's crazy.
Even then, like, I still help people, or like after the game. Well, I love after the round where it's like, I'm not playing you again. Probably. Let's talk about all the mistakes that happened.
Sure.
Let's so you can do better later. You got to improve my strength.
Yeah, it's funny. Netrunner is, there's so many mistakes in every game. When you play in real life, you just get used to Jinteki doing the work.
Yeah, having JNet automate all of those triggers and all of the timing is definitely both a blessing and a curse.
Just saying, Octagon was awesome. We didn't have to leave Octagon. Come on, when else are you gonna get that awesome side game noise for Future Perfect? Like, it's worth having to do everything, man.
I never played on Octagon, but I remember driving back from a Philadelphia regionals. My entire car was just constantly slamming the Octagon soundboard to relive all those goofy sound effects.
Oh yeah, I was in that car. I also never played on Octagon, but that's what I remember hearing of the conversation was like, oh, there were just 1,000 bazillion different sounds.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool sounds and everything manual, and I played complicated decks back then too, so it wasn't super fun sometimes, but it was a...
Yeah, I can't imagine doing like CI combo manually, like through an interface, not just like holding the cards.
No, that was definitely something people did. At least like the one saving grace for stuff like that, there was a hold on, I want to react button, like a keyboard hotkey. So if someone was doing anything crazy, but like I played my Chameleon Personal Workshop deck in Octagon, having to move all the tokens around. It was great.
Oh, Personal Workshop, what a card!
I miss that more than any other card in the game.
Just like put something on it and stim hack and install things and just good, and it ticked down on its own. I remember one day I was able to Elizabeth Mills a Personal Workshop because it's a location.
You're killing me.
It's rude. It was quite rude. There were like 6 things on it.
Yeah, it's like, especially if it's someone newer and they don't know. Like, hold on, I'll unload it. It's like you don't get a window to unload it. That's not how it works.
No, all those things are now in the garbage.
But you get a bad pub. It's worth it.
Until I put a different Liz Mills in. So many different Liz Mills. 3 different copies of Liz Mills.
Okay, Blue Sun. Okay.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna call it here, everybody. Thank you guys both for being on and coming through and chatting about this game. Staying to chat a little bit about the game itself and the community afterwards. Thank you for everyone who is on watching. I'm gonna be back with 2 more rounds of Sovereign of Subways. We still have to do round 4 and round 5. If you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, you can watch them in order, and this is the first one you're seeing, so you have no idea what I'm talking about. 2, 3, and hopefully 4 and 5 are up and ready to be watched as well. Any last comments here, friends?
See you guys
No.
at regionals.
Yeah, thanks for having us. This is great.
Yeah, no problem. I'll see you guys at regionals.
That was fun.
See ya.